Yo, 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 yo. Welcome back to another episode of the EPL review show. It's match week 23, come and gone. And now it's time to break it all down like we always do. You know the thing set people. It's customary when we start these EPL review shows to ask the question. Please, if your side got 3 points, if your side got 3 points in the league that they play this week, because I know we have fans of La Liga teams and Bundesliga teams, please drop threes in the comment section. I will be refraining from putting a three because unless you live under a rock, you know that my Gunners did not get anything this weekend, and to be quite honest, we didn't deserve anything. So if you don't hear it yet, if you don't hear it yet tonight, or well, you will hear it tonight, but it's the first time tonight, I'm gonna say, well played, Man U. Congrats, you guys deserve the win, and yeah, we can't go around that. We can't go around that, people. Them deserve it. Them actually deserve it. Them actually deserve it. So we're there. We're gonna break it all down. All you United stands. I see one in the building that don't even come to the channel anymore, but no, I'm not gonna say that. Don't come to the EPL shows anymore. He's definitely here today. That's Drew Fortis. Big up yourself. Say good night, everyone. Haven't been here in a while. That is the truth. And then put him three. Big up, big up, big up. Bless up the gigs as well before the show start. Him drop something. Well, say no points this week. Yeah, bro. No points for me this week, people. No points for me this week. Big up Conrad in the building. One boss him said him could have put him three because them get it, them get it, Drew said, wow. You won't be the only one, Drew. Some other United fans gonna turn up out the woodworks tonight, man. I tell you. See all the Chelsea fan out of the blue. Esteban score, assist, then win. He's here, Rossinia can't lose. It look like we just need to fire a manager and get a new manager, people. Cause Chelsea get a new manager, winning streak. United get a new manager, winning streak. Big up the assembled. The assembled say morning because on his side of the world it is literally morning now. So big up yourself, assembled in the building. Yeah, man, big up yourself, man. Respect every time, my bro. Conrad I did with laugh. Yeah, man, the people are gonna turn up. Yo, when I was making the thumbnail tonight, I was thinking, like it's just like on AFTV whenever there's a big loss, you can see their numbers, their views go way up, And I figured this week would be like that. So if I set some kind of record for the EPL review show, we know why. You guys don't forward for my breakdowns at all. You guys forward to see me cost my team. But it's all right, man. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. Hey, one thing when you're an Arsenal fan, you have pretty much mastered how to take trolling and all of that. So, people are say, yo, I'm surprised you still turn up, even little groups, I'm in message groups and football groups. I'm turn up and thing, them I say, yo, seriously, you would have hide for a few days, but bro, what you gonna do? It's football, It's football, And I mean, based on how United is playing right now, losing to them is not unfathomable. You know what I'm saying? Now, if it was Ruben coaching them and it was how they have been throughout the season and we get that beaten, boy, it would have hurt even more. Still hurt, don't get me wrong, because I tell the people this all the time. Tottenham is our like local rival and thing, but because when I was growing up and becoming an Arsenal fan, it was always United was that team to like go against because they were the other best team at the time. Yeah, United has always been my nemesis more than any other team. Chelsea, my father liked Chelsea, so, I never really hated Chelsea. I don't hate them, you know what I mean? But I hate United and I hate Tottenham, you know what I'm saying? Liverpool, they weren't so good back then, so I didn't really care. And even though City has beat me to the title 3 years in a row, I don't have this hatred for City either because I kind of like how City play. So my true hated teams in the league, honestly, are United and Tottenham. Yeah, that's the truth. That is the truth. Do you think Arsenal can raise their game? Let's see if the mentality has improved. Look, I have no doubts that we can raise our game. But the doubt I have is, can we raise our game in the most important times? Right. So perfect example is this week we just passed, right? Assemble. So we play Inter Milan in a big game because Champions League, and they were the finalists last year. So it's a good team. They lead in Serie A, we lead in Premier League. So bragging rights wise is a big game, right? But where we stood in the Champions League at the time of playing that game, the pressure ain't that great, because even if we had lost, we're still in the 1 through 8 playoff spots, and so we could play that game free, like, let's just go for it. If we lose, we lose. If we win, we win. If we draw, who cares? But let's just play the game. Now, in the Premier League now, where we have that thing in our brains of we have battled the league in the past few years, or the crucial moments we can't get the 3 points and we need them, this and that. And you see the difference in how we play the game in the Premier League. It's just much more sterile. It's very vanilla. It's very safe. Not intricate play, just middle side, like nothing incisive, nobody trying anything. And I feel like the way we play the game in the midweek and the way we play the game on the weekend is literally what can hold us back from winning the title. Is up here at this point. It's mental, definitely mental. And you could hear it in the fans from the first little mispass. It's like you hear it and it was growing and growing and building and building and building. And like, look, they're just gonna have to deal with that for the rest of the year, because the fans can't all of a sudden just feel confident, because we have seen the history. It's there to see. You can't go around it. Look on the bright side, you guys still leading by 4. Yeah, look. That's pretty much, whenever people are trolling Arsenal fans today, that's literally all Arsenal fans can say, is like, well, we're still on top of the table by 4. But that you can only say that so many weeks, if you don't start to do what you're supposed to do, because 4 becomes 1 and 1 becomes down by 2, like, quickly. Bless up, Float. Hope all is well with you, my G. Yeah, man, we're there. Can't stand your fellow fans. Some of them I can't stand. That is damn true. Yo, blessings and maximum respect, CK, because 12-month membership. Yeah, man. If all you guys that watch the channel just join, trust me, would be a great support for me. I tell you the truth. But CK, honors and respect, my G. Respect. It's been mental for years. That's the truth. That's the truth. And it permeates through the fan base too, because you heard it. I mean, if you watch that game with the sound on, I know you hear it, like the gasping every time something go wrong. Players hear that shit too, Bless up, Jagans. Yo, trust me. Hey, I'm going to talk to my side, my collective side, my prediction side. We need to do better. Right now, we are moved like Arsenal. We are moved like any team we can't get 3 points, because trust me, 2 weeks in a row, nobody don't crack five correct predictions, Not even one person. I don't know what happened the last 2 weeks, but we need to shape up my side. We need to shape up. All right, let's not delay proceedings any longer. Let's get right into some games. So I know the United people and everybody probably want me to talk about United Arsenal first, but we still have to run the slate of games right through, just like how it played. So I'll go through the game them one by one. Obviously, the Arsenal and the United game will get a lot of time tonight, but we're gonna go through all the games like we always do. So let's start at the London Stadium, where West Ham took on Sunderland. This was the curtain raiser for the Premier League this week. And this is how the statistics and the game went. West Ham coming into this game off the back of a win. They haven't said that many times this season, right? And, they were facing a Sunderland team that struggle away from home. And also, not only did they struggle away from home, they were without probably, I mean, it's probably a mad thing to say, but based on how they played in this game, I would say Xhaka has to be one of the most important players on any team this season because they look completely horrible without Xhaka in the midfield. Didn't know what to do with themselves. So no Xhaka away from home, facing a West Ham side that can't really call them fully rejuvenated, but I do think that like the signing of Tati Castellanos, Felipe, just getting some new blood in that attacking third. That coupled with Somerville's finally arriving at West Ham, they expected big things from him when they signed him, but it hasn't really worked out for him. But I think those things all together, plus, Nuno started off with a struggle, but we've seen it before with Nuno. He's going to find his way if you give him the time, especially a team like West Ham. I think it's like tailor-made for him, the situation they're in, fighting relegation, have to be comfortable with not having the ball a lot from time to time. But I think now with some of the additions in attack, he finally has something looking like that counter attack, Nuno is famous for. So don't be surprised, people, if West Ham continue this kind of form throughout the rest of the season. I think there'll be a much tougher game than people would think, based on how the season has gone so far moving forward. But let's take a look at the game. This is the West Ham Sunderland game. It ended 3-1, as you can see. West Ham went out first half scoring 3 goals. I don't think that has happened for them this season. A brilliant headed goal from across from Bowen by Somerville. Then the penalty from Bowen, and then Mateus Fernandez scoring a rocket after a counter-attack kind of broke down. Came back out to him outside the box. The crowd yelled, "Shoot!" And trust me, he obliged them. What a strike. And Roofs has been good this season. So, to beat him from that distance, you're going to take some quality, which he did show. And to be totally honest, Sunderland pretty much after a decent start to the game, before that Somerville goal, it was all West Ham pretty much once that goal scored. Pretty much up until they scored a goal against the runner play in the 66th minute. Brian Brabby finding his feet for Sunderland, scoring a lot more goals recently, courtesy of another assist by Mukiele. If you play FPL, they're not really keeping the clean sheets like they were. But Mukiele, some reason, is popping up with scoring, whether it's a goal or an assist. And a theme this week, if you look at the goals, people, I notice a lot of crosses made goals scored this week. Even in this game alone, I think it was 2 crosses for the 4 goals. Bravi got the cross from Mukiele, Bowen crossed to Somerville, and that, you're going to see that as a theme. I was just looking at all the goals for the week, and I was like trying to see what I noticed out of the goals. A lot of plays, especially down the right-hand side for some reason. Cross, finish, goal. A lot of those this week. But that was the overall game, kind of in a nutshell. West Ham probably one of their best performances of the season, to be honest. And Sunderland really struggling to find their way without Xhaka in that midfield, pulling the strings. So yeah, Sunderland, hopefully that's not a long-term thing. Unless, wait, let me see. Why was Xhaka not playing? Is he injured? I guess so. Well, he's not listed on the injury list down here, but I mean, what's going on with Xhaka for real? Let's see. Granite. I mean, he must be injured. Well, this guy must be out. Bless up, Rob Smith. Big up yourself, my G. Hope all is good with you and the fam. Somebody said Netflix start film already. Just a wait to release. Every season. That's what Evra saying. They would make a lot of money if Arsenal do a Netflix series second place again. Yeah, man. Second place look inevitable again. All right, let's take a look at the overall stats for the game. As you can see here, expected goals. West Ham had the edge there, 1.52 to 0.67. A lot of big chances in this game, 7 in total, 4 for West Ham, 3 for Sunderland, 13 shots to 7 in favor of the home side. Sunderland did attempt more passes. They had 4, there were 6 yellow cards handed out, so quite a rough game. 5 shots on target for West Ham, 2 for Sunderland. Both teams hit the woodwork once. You see the big chances scored and missed for both teams. So not quite fully clinical in front of goal either team. Very even game in terms of the territory on the pitch. As you can see, most of it in the middle third, which is normal. But both defensive thirds kind of share the rest of the time. Final third entries even as well, 56 to 55. But it must be said that just on the overall run of play, it felt like West Ham did more with their entries. Sunderland did have a good spell to end the game. It almost felt like West Ham was kind of just, we'd done our work in the first half and let's just get through the rest of the game. And Sunderland, to their credit, never really gave up. But I think if they were able to just find that second goal maybe in the next 10, 15 minutes after the first, we could have been talking about a great comeback at least for a point. But once they could keep that 2-goal cushion and, the fans really kind of brought them home in the end and they got a big win. So that's back-to-back wins for West Ham. I think that's only the second time this season they have done that. And they have yet to win 3 in a row. So they will definitely want to do that. I think after this win and the other results, I think they're 5 points from safety now. So, a couple weeks back, I think it was more like 8 or 9 points from safety. So they have chopped that basically in half almost, and they need to basically I would say they need to reel off 1 more win in a row to really feel like, okay, we're definitely in a position where we can get out of this relegation. But let's see if 3 wins in a row is just a bit much to ask of this team. Mateus Fernandes, as you can see, was voted the best player of the game. Him and Somerville, I think rightly so, were the 2 best players on the pitch. Bowen definitely was good as well. Goal and assist for him. So he's back on the scoring charts. But yeah, like I said, Sunderland, he's not listed as injured here, Granit Xhaka, not listed as suspended. So I don't know why. I don't know what was going on with Xhaka, but he was in the stands because I saw him cussing out some fans at the end of the game. But yeah, maybe somebody in the chat can tell me because I'm not sure if he was suspended or what was going on, injury. But yeah, they need him back. Wouldn't mind Villa win just for the scenes. Yeah, well, the last time Arsenal, well, not the last time, but the last time that a team that wasn't maybe, thought of to win one, they pripped Arsenal to the win, and that was Leicester. Now, Villa winning wouldn't be as crazy as Leicester, obviously. But I think at this point, people, while Villa is tied with City, I don't really hear as much energy towards, them chasing Arsenal. People are just saying that City is chasing Arsenal. So I guess it would be scenes because I don't think many people, unless they're a villain, are saying, yeah, Villa gonna prep Arsenal and City to the title. I don't hear that. But hey, it's possible. I mean, they're right there. The goal difference don't look so great, but they can win games. So I think they have the longest winning streak of the season. So that counts for something. Sabalenka win. All right, so 3-1, West Ham over Sunderland. Then we move to Turf Moor, Burnley and Tottenham. And this game right here ended 2-2. Tottenham with their 2 strikers scoring again, Van de Ven and Romero. Burnley had a goal from Twanzebe and Lyle Foster. And again, a theme of the day, 2 goals coming from crosses from the right. Kyle Walker sending a cross into Twanzebe, and at the end of the game, Odebeer, after a set piece, gets down the right, whips it in, and Romero with a bullet header to make it 2-2 in the 90th minute. Van de Ven got the first goal. It was kind of a scrappy one from a set piece. Kind of came towards the top of the box towards Van de Ven, and he made no mistake putting it into the corner. And then the second goal by Burnley, which gave them a 2-1 lead, was a brilliant piece of interplay, starting on the left wing, played into midfield. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 passes. I think it fell to Jadon Anthony, who sat down his defender with a fake shot, and then Foster. It only would have been sweeter if he could have just finished it the first time he took the shot. It was saved, he got the rebound, and then put it away the second time. But it was still a beautiful goal by Burnley. A lot of good passing and interchange before the goal. So yeah, it was an entertaining game. 2-2. I think Tottenham probably will look back at this game and say, boy, we're really, even though we had a 98-minute equalizer, you're thankful for the point. I think on the balance of play, Tottenham probably deserve more out of this game than what they got. You can see they had more possession, they had the better expected goals, they created one more big chance, they had double the shots. So, you know, really and truly, Burnley can give this win to a couple of clinical plays. One by Walker, that cross was pinpointed to Nzebi, and they can thank Tottenham for falling asleep with the marking. And also a moment of brilliant team play for the Lyle Foster goal. And Tottenham can point at missed chances, you know, ruining their day. You see both teams, 7 big chances again, 4 for Tottenham, 3 for Burnley. But you see the difference here. Dubravka was immense. He made 9 saves on the day, you know, really stopping a lot of shots. You see Tottenham had 11 shots on target on the day. So, you know, Dubravka definitely put in a lot of work. They also hit the woodwork once. But that's the problem. Tottenham missed all 4 of the big chances that fell to them. Terrible. Tottenham had 6 more final third entries. You see the duels, aerial duels, dribbles, crosses. I always say the goals prevented stat can tell you a lot. You see Dubravka in the positive, Vicario in the negative. And 4 of those 9 saves were considered big saves as well. So, like I said, Dubravka definitely deserve his credit and his plaudits. I'm surprised he didn't win man of the match in the stat that was given to Romero with a 7.8, but Dubravka could have gotten it as well, as he got a 7.8 as well. So highest rated players on the field, Romero and Dubravka, based on SofaScore rating. So look, Thomas Frank, I think the only thing really saving him right now is their form in the Champions League. You know, right now in the Champions League, they are in the actual, I believe they're in the top 8. I'm almost certain they are. Let me double check that. So Tottenham in the Champions League, yeah, they're in 5th. So, you know, I think honestly that's what's saving his job right now. I think I saw something where after 23 games last season, Ange had 24 points, and this season Thomas Frank got 28 in the same 23 games. So really and truly, you know, it was almost like a sideways step, you know, not the type of jump you want when you get a new manager in. But I think what's definitely saving him right now is a couple of things. The first thing, they're forming the Champions League. You can't argue with them being in 5th position. You know, in a good spot right now, going into the last match day to basically avoid playing in that playoffs round. And the other thing I think saving him too, if we're being fair, or if the ownership group is being fair, I know the fans will never be fair. Fans are going to want results no matter what. They don't care most of the time. But the owners, I think they should look at this. Look at this list of players. Kulusevski, Kudus, Richarlison now, Ben Davies, James Maddison been out, Rodrigo out, Paulinho was doubtful. Did he play? Nah, he didn't play. Bergval is out now, and so is Papa Matassar. So they have quite a few players that they don't even have available, right? See the kids on the bench, Luca Williams, Barnett, Janae Byfield. Scarlett, not quite a kid anymore, but definitely if everyone's fit. I think Dane Scarlett is probably out on loan somewhere right now. So they have had their bad luck with injuries as well. Van de Ven and Romero have missed time at times this season. So look, I think if you're being honest, we've seen Thomas Frank at Brentford manage a team well, right? And I think Frank is one of those managers where I have watched his Brentford teams play several different ways. I think for Tottenham, for whatever reason, it seems like he's stuck in the reactive way. Like he only sets them up to be defensively solid and just work off of that foundation. Have yet to see him really expand and really, kind of release the team on the other team. It's all very measured, it's all very, stale. And that's why I think they're getting so much goals from set pieces and their defenders. And it sounds similar to someone else and another team, but yeah, that team will remain nameless until later in the show. But Thomas Frank, I think the Champions League is saving your job right now. So please, you better continue to do well in that, because the Premier League has gone haywire, brother. But I honestly can say I have to look at this injury list and say, yo, John Ostar, you have a lot of players that would really be helping you. Madison, Kulusevski, Kudus. I mean, that three right there would be extremely helpful to the cause. Burnley, they're trying. They're not rolling over. But with 15 games left to play, I think they might not be able to get all the way back up to where they would need to be, especially with those teams in 17, 16, 15, getting results here and there, kind of stretching out that gap. But Burnley do get a point at home at Turf Moor against Tottenham. But the big major news is, Thomas Frank still in the mud in the Premier League with Tottenham. Next game, people, Fulham versus Brighton. And this one, really and truly, another game, Brighton, for whatever reason, they have a lot of games where one team is winning and then the other team comes back, whether it's them winning and they lose the game or the other team losing and they come back and win the game. But this time it was Brighton's turn to suffer a comeback defeat. 2 goals in the second half, one from Chukwueze back from AFCON and the other from a man on fire in the Premier League for the last, 2 months now, Harry Wilson. Another free kick. Arguably, Verbruggen could have done better with that one, but I think it was some serious breeze and wind behind the shot, and I think that's what gave it the added power, and the hand wasn't strong enough. I think it just surprised him for pace. But Harry Wilson, again, showing how much of a technician he is with that left foot, with a nice free kick to make it 2-1. Brighton, I thought, was the better team for large stretches of the first half. I thought the second half was much more even, but I do think also that even Brighton's goal on the day, Leno will be looking at himself and wondering how he couldn't get that, because he was literally right behind the ball and just beating for the pace of the shot, right on his near post that he's standing on. So he'll look back on that and be disappointed. But this game was a pretty even game, if you ask me. I thought both teams, had their chances, right? Brighton had a couple more big chances, but I do think that this game could have easily just been a draw. But you see, the expected goals were leaning in the favor of Brighton, 1.59 to 1.05. 4 big chances for Brighton, 2 for Fulham. Shots 13 to 12 in favor of Brighton. Let's see, shots on target 5 to 4 in favor of Brighton. Big chances missed on the day, 4. Horrible. I think they missed 3 actually. And then final third entries even, 47, 46 just about. Both keepers in the negative for goals prevented. 1 error leading to a shot for Fulham. Let's take a look at the starting lineups for the game. Kevin got a start. Mitoma been back now for a few weeks. He's starting again. But Verbruggen, yep, could tell you 5.7. That sound about right. I feel like he should have done better on the free kick. And I think he also could have done better on the first goal by Chukwueze. I think the free kick by Wilson looks like it was given as an error, which I think is fair. I mean, he just looked to mistime the punch almost, or the parry, and it just was a weak hand, and it just kind of went in the goal through his hand, you know. But Fulham getting 3 points, you know, I think Marco Silva will probably feel like he might have got away with this win, with the nature of the goal in the dying moments, and also because you know Brighton did have their chances in that second half for them to win the game, but in the end, I think Leno came up with enough saves, and Verbruggen couldn't do the same, you know. So 2-1 in favor of Fulham. I think Harry Wilson is just a player that is just in incredible form right now, and Fulham just need to continue to ride that wave because you know he's coming up with the goods. I think you know he's right up there, goals and assists wise. You know for this stretch of time when he's been playing well, I think you know he's up there at the top. Him and Haaland basically. So you know let's see how long Harry Wilson can keep this going. I don't think it will stop because you know when a player has confidence, you know it's really tough to knock that confidence. And if he can stay healthy, which I think has always been his issue as a Premier League player, just his durability, which it looks like he has worked on, maybe getting a little bit stronger as he gets a little bit older. But definitely a player that his left foot is special for sure. And, you know, he can put that ball pretty much wherever he wants to put it. So um, Fulham just need to keep working with him because, you know, they don't really have much up front. Rodrigo Muni is still out, so they only have Raul Jimenez up there. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting, you know. Can Fulham kind of keep getting results? Anthony Robinson is back playing again, which is helpful, but Sessegnon was playing well before that. Came on and did well off the bench in this game as well. And yeah, I think I'm surprised they haven't gone in the market to try to get a striker. But I'm not really sure. Let's see if it's giving me a return date for Muniz. So right now, give me a return. Why won't it give me a return date? Doo, doo, doo. Bro, this is weird. Cause it usually the right side of the injured thing. That's weird, you know. Let me put up on this thing. Maybe it's just in the app. We're gonna find out now. Expected back February, late February. So I still have a little ways to go before. So yeah, if Jimenez pop down a problem, no one will be left. Then if finally have a human being game and didn't do everything properly and score. Minte come back from injury. That's good for them. But yeah, just Brighton just couldn't get it done in front of goal. That was the main issue. That was the main issue. And that little bit of quality came through from Wilson, and nobody and Fulham could replicate that, you know. So That was the difference. Nobody on Brighton, sorry, could replicate that. That was the difference in the game. So Harry Wilson, Chukwueze goals after IR scored, beating Leno at his near post. And that's a couple of not so good results for Brighton there, but let's move on to the next game, and that is the champions elect, Manchester City, and they faced off against Wolves at home, and they won courtesy of two first half goals, one by Omar Marmoush from, guess what? A cross from the right. And Semenyo scoring a well taken goal after some, nice interplay in the midfield. Rodri to Shirky to Silva all played within the middle channel of the pitch. And the pass pinged into Semenyo, whose first touch beats the defender and the second touch beats the goalkeeper. So very, very efficient goal scored by Manchester City for their second one. And that's all they needed on the day. And all of a sudden, Manchester City's defense looks completely different with one Mark Gahey back there on the back line. Last ditch tackles, celebrations with his teammates for those tackles, just a newfound confidence on the back line, just having him there. And Kusanov, who had been struggling, looks automatically better playing beside Mark Gahey. So yeah, let's see how much of a difference Gahey makes for these last 15 games. And they still have the makeshift left back and right back situation going on. So let's see how that holds up in the tougher games that they play. But I think it's a great start to have Gahey there in the middle, just to, bring that calmness to that back line, which definitely was missing without someone like him there. Rodri probably had his best game, I think, back since he's been back, looking more and more like the Rodri that, we have all feared as opposing fans. And he made some big decisions, which I think he'll have to do in the next 15 games in the Premier League with the various competitions they have to play and the addition of Semenyo and Shirky to the attacking complement of players and Reinders as well. But this time he opted to go for no Haaland, no Foden, and he actually played Marmoush and Reinders. So Semenyo, Shirky, they were out there, and Doku as well was on the bench. And those three players that probably were the big decision not to start, those were the three that did enter the field of play, subbing for Reinders, Shirky, and Marmoush. So, it was looking a little better. Ait Nouri, Ake, Rico Lewis as the, you would say, first teamers on that bench. Max Alain, brought back from loan, was on the bench, as well as Mukasa, who is more of a youth player. But yeah, I think that rotation that he'll be able to do now, moving forward, as long as these players stay healthy and everything, Afghan is behind them. He switched it up in this game. He didn't go with Haaland, he went with Marmoush, and it was a different looking attack. A lot more, interchange in the front line. We saw Semenyo, especially for that second goal. I think if Haaland's on the pitch, does Semenyo have that space to make that touch and be, inside the box with space to finish? If Marmoush isn't the striker, who is pretty much drifting out to the left when they attack, and so Semenyo is taking up a more inside right channel. So I think it's going to be interesting, the combinations that he ends up going with. Is a situation where Marmoush and Semenyo might work better together because they can play more like two strikers when they have the ball. Or does he still see Semenyo and Haaland being able to play? Maybe it doesn't look like that. Maybe Semenyo keeps the width more when Haaland plays. But let's see. It's going to be interesting. But I do think that what Pep has at his disposal now is a couple of different ways to approach games and attack teams, which is good, because I think maybe they had gotten a bit over-reliant on the direct style to Haaland when most of their team is still a ball-playing team. So it's not like it matches up perfectly with how everybody on the field would really normally play. So let's see what he ends up going with. Is this something that he might do more frequently? Go with Marmoush instead, or was this just a one-off? And he maybe realized that they have a big game to play in the Champions League. Most of the other English teams are pretty much chilling, but he probably knows that he needs something out of the last game in the Champions League phase, and maybe that was why he gave the day off to Haaland. So we'll have to see moving forward, but I think he must look at this and say, okay, we did look kind of fluid in that first half with Marmoush up there in the attack. And he might want to use that again in even bigger games that they play. But let's see. We have to wait and see on that. Pep is the mad scientist, so he will do what he thinks needs to be done. But it was at a time getting really weird to see Pep put out the same 11 every week, because that's what was happening like a couple of weeks ago. But now, people back from AFCON, players getting back healthy, and now you're going to see Pep do his master rotations that he normally does in this part of the season. Wolves, look, they had a good run, people. They had a good run. You can't really hit too much on them. They fell short in this game, but I think City had a really good display. I think the addition of Guehi really helped out that back line. City 0.86, so they didn't really dominate the game. Normally a home game against Wolves, you'd expect at least over one expected goals. 0.61 for Wolves, not bad. Both teams only created one big chance. They both had 11 shots. 4 shots on target though for City to only 1 for Wolves. City hit the woodwork twice. Wolves hit the woodwork once. City scored a big chance, didn't miss one, and Wolves only missed the one big chance they had. Final third entry is dominated by City though, 70-29. So yeah, that was pretty much the overall stats of the game there. And yeah, it's just gonna be interesting, man. What does he do with this midfield and this forward in for the next 15 games? It's gonna be tough. As an FPL player, it's like you kind of have to choose one. It's the first week I can remember having Haaland, and I considered getting rid of him this week. And maybe it was my intuition working, because he didn't even start this game. And it's been at least 4 Premier League games with no goal. And for the price tag he is in FPL, it's getting harder and harder to, but we're gonna stick it out and see what happens. I just don't think it's gonna be that much rotation from Haaland out the team. I just think circumstances this week caused it, but we'll have to see moving forward. Maybe we see more Marmoush leading the line, because we know Pep likes that more mobile number 9 that can even have the qualities to drop back if need be. And Marmoush definitely does that better than Haaland. So let's see how that goes. It's gonna be an interesting one. But 2-0, don't look no Gunners. They are forwarding. They are forwarding. Now, this was probably the most enjoyable game of Saturday for most fans, or for any fan that don't like Liverpool. But this game, Liverpool went down 2-0. A huge mistake. I don't even know what Van Dijk was doing on that long pass that he just let bounce, and then Scott pulled it back for Evan Nilsson to score. And then Kirkis fell asleep on a through pass. Jimenez getting in behind him, the right back, and he tucked it through the legs of Alisson. Van Dijk had a great flick header from the near post off a corner. And then Soboslai again showing his dead ball prowess with a nice goal from a set piece to make it 2-2, sorry. And then the last play of the game, a long throw comes in. Van Dijk is out muscle, doesn't get the first ball. As a matter of fact, the guy who scores the goal is the one who flicks it on Adley. And then it falls to his feet, he kicks it, gets blocked, it comes back to him somehow, and from a tight angle, he's able to squeeze it through to make it 3-2, basically with the last kick of the game. So, big win for Bournemouth. Iraola's side had been kind of struggling of late, but it's just more struggles for Liverpool at this point. Don't know what's going on with them in the league right now, but another 3 points that they come up short, can't even get a point either. And it was really and truly well deserved for Bournemouth to win the game. You know, you look at the expected goals, 2.35 to 0.93. They had 6 big chances that they created, only 1 for Liverpool. Liverpool dominated possession, but definitely the more threat was coming from Bournemouth side. 2 more shots though for Liverpool on the day. They did have a bag of corner kicks, 11, scoring from one of them. 5 shots on target though for Bournemouth and 4 to Liverpool. Bournemouth hit the woodwork once. You see the big chances scored and missed. Only 1 big chance created by Liverpool and it was missed. And then final third entries, Liverpool 81, only 37 for Bournemouth. But boy, those 37 final third entries yielded a lot of danger and threat. Both keepers in the negative for goals prevented, but Alisson a bit worse. And yeah, it was really and truly a game where, you know, Bournemouth, yes, they did get gifted a goal a couple of times, I would say, from some lapse in judgment and overall poor defending and execution. But other than that, Bournemouth had a really good game plan. They basically, you know, unlike Iraola teams, they didn't really get into a high press situation with Liverpool. They kind of conserved their energy for when they got the ball, and they definitely made Liverpool pay. You know, they had quite a few chances in this game. You know, Evan Nielsen probably should have scored this one. Another one for Evan Nielsen, close. Should have put that away. Scott had a decent half chance as well. Senesi as well, and this was right before the goal. To be fair, that's the same action. Adley had 2 cracks at it, so they were just relentless in front of goal. And when they got in the final third, they definitely created problems, and their actions were ending in something: a shot, a save. You know, Liverpool definitely a lot of possession, a lot of, you know, sideways passing, a lot of control. But yeah, just not quite clicking all the way in that final third or creating enough in that final third. Even though they had the 2 goals, you know, it was basically 2 set piece goals. So the run up play, they really were not efficient enough on the day. Slap went with the 4-2-2-2, but I just don't think the players played all the way up to their potential in this one. But a big win for Bournemouth, man. I think you could see Iraola at the end of the game. Obviously, it was pretty emotional due to, you know, the late goal and everything. But and of course, Gomez goes down injured. You know, there was a lot of games in a row for him, so I figured it was coming soon. And he went down again. So Liverpool kind of in the mud right now, man. I don't know what's going on. I think Slot right now also should thank how Liverpool is doing in the Champions League because they're in 4th. So again, you know, they're out of the top 4 in the Premier League after this weekend's results, but they are still sitting really good in that Champions League. And you know, with winning the Prem last year, you know, doing well in the Champions League this year. I know a lot of Liverpool fans are like slot out, but I don't believe that that's going to happen, people. I don't think he's believing anytime soon. Don't think he'll be leaving anytime soon. All right, I haven't checked in with the chat for a while. I've just been going in with my analysis and my thoughts on the teams and the games. But let me see. Where was I? Villa going back for Louise. Are they really? I mean, they kind of need bodies in that midfield, you know. Villa let the league slip last week when that lost to Everton. Yeah, it wasn't a good loss at all. Blessings Apache. Zubimendi with him every again cost we about 9 points so far. Tell him I rate him JG. Yeah, man. You have been very consistent. I think you were ones that saying, you know, why would I get him and don't have party again? But the party can't stay fit anyway, brother. How much game him play for Villarreal? Bless up Chile. Oh, go on. You're back with a lot of chess. Last week, Man U punched down City. This week, Arsenal try Man U just uppercut them. The day after the United result, bring back to reality that we play Spurs next, so it's still 7 points. For real, cause Spurs are always a beaten. You guys were just clinical for a day. Yes, Skull. 1 in 8. Shaking my effing head. Saying this 18 months ago would be strange, but Nunes is a must start, don't it? Nunes are doing thing, brother. Yeah, man. A brilliant cross him put into. And him seem like him stronger or something, like him defensively. I mean, him still do madness from time to time defending, but just seem a lot more. I should just more comfortable. Haaland Doku starting for Galatasaray. Yeah, more than likely. I don't think I'm doing a watch along Wednesday for the final day, even though I should, We'll be doing a show that day, a reasoning time show. If I finish early enough with that, I might just do like a watch along of all the games, Put it on a channel where I show you the goal and when they score and thing and just hold a reason and watch the game. We might do that. Blessings before the game. Hope all is good. I hope you're doing okay. I know you're like myself a true gunner. So I know that one didn't leave a good taste in your mouth that day at all. Don't got a team that I actually support. Jamaica alone him support. Haaland needed the rest, just couldn't get it because Marmoush was at AFCON. True. How can we be forwarding and we have Spurs next? We will see versus Liverpool. The curse broke Chile. Believe, no man. PK said, believe Chile. Van Dijk defended that like him never sleep the night before. Bro, even the last goal, bro, like he really went to the ref complaining about a push. Like the man literally just wanted it more than him. And then when him get pushed now and him see the bunk, run back there and try to get the ball and just stand up. I hope somebody clear it. Oh, gosh, man. Don't come a World Cup and do that foolishness for Netherlands, brother. I hope Koeman bench if you do that, Bournemouth seems to don't look like they sell them best performance players when they play to me. Bournemouth seems to don't look like they sell them best players when they play. Okay. Yeah, I think there's certain teams that stay so, like Brighton really change when them change ball, they just play. Bournemouth is the same way because even the start of this season, everybody was saying, well, 3 out of the 4 defense gone. But Bournemouth was like in the top 5 at one point early in the season. So I don't know, man. They have really struggled though of late, like badly. I think they just needed a couple of weeks to get used to No Semenyo, because he really was a huge part of the team. Despite the loss yesterday, Arsenal are still the favorites to win the Premier League. Can the Gunners win the league this season? Brother, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't know because I don't know. We'll have to see, brother. We'll have to see. Van Dijk need to leave the football before it leave him. Yes, it's a tough one, man, because, I mean, he's always been that type of defender that looks so calm and everything. But the problem is when you look like that and it don't come off, it just look like, what the hell are you doing? You know what I mean? I will believe on game day, but right now I'm cautious. Honorable mention, how impressive has Sunderland been? Yeah, CK, I mean, if they could just give a little more away from home, I think they would really and truly be in that European fight. I think they're gonna in the end drop off because their away form is so bad. But yeah, at the Stadium of Light, trust me, problems. All right, so Brentford Forest. This game was at the community stadium, the G-Tech, and this one ended 2-0, and it was to the team that I didn't think was going to win. It was Forest. Forest had been struggling a little bit in the Premier League. I mean, overall, just hadn't really been having a good run of form, and Brentford has been in decent form. And of course, in typical Premier League fashion, no rhyme or reason, Nottingham Forest on the day just win 2-0. On the balance of play, I think Brentford should feel hard done by not getting anything out of the game. But at the end of the day, when you create big chances and you don't score any of them, you leave yourself open to getting sucker punched. And the first goal in this game, again, we had one in the City game from Nunes off the right. This game, the first goal, yeah, it was deflected by Aina from the right hand side, but brilliantly taken goal by Jesus, chesting and turning and volleying in one motion, basically. And Collins or the goalkeeper Kelleher couldn't react in time. But Brentford had the higher stats in the game, more big chances. They had the more expected goals. But again, just a lack of the clinical finishing on the day. I mean, even their main man missed an easy goal right to start the game. And that basically set the tide for the game. Like, it just was one of those days where Brentford wasn't going to score. And, Forest pretty much was the total opposite. I mean, that Jesus scored to start the game, that chance was a .04 expected goal. I mean, for him to execute that the way he did was just excellent. And then even the second goal, I mean, Awani makes a run from the half line, basically, beats like 3 players, scores it through the legs of the keeper. I've never seen Awani score a goal like that before. So it was just the day for Forest to get the result. And Brentford just have to regroup. I don't think they need to panic and, oh my gosh, how could we lose this game? Like I said, they just weren't clinical on the day. They missed some big chances. I'm sure they back Thiago. If you give him those same chances again, he probably scores a brace on the day, but it just wasn't their day. And Forest with a big win, I think with West Ham winning, it was probably really crucial for them to get that at least something on the board, and for the bonus of it being 3 points. That was definitely something that I'm sure they were really, really pleased about, to keep that gap to the relegation zone the same as it was going into the game week. But Nottingham Forest, getting back the look of the back line that kept a bag of clean sheets last year. Aina, Milenkovic, Murillo, and Nico Williams, definitely that 4+ cells in form can be a formidable backline. And then when you add in Sangare returning from AFCON, Elliot Anderson turning into one of the best two-way midfielders in the league, slowly but surely, I think they just have a much more solid base right now. And then the manager, Sean Dyche, he is extremely stingy when his teams play. So I think the personnel coming back, getting fit, Sean Dyche managing them, don't be surprised as well. Just like West Ham, if Nottingham Forest kicks on and starts to get more results that you're not thinking they're going to get to end of the season, I could see that happening for sure. Brentford, like I said, I don't think they need to panic. I think they played well in the game. They just, they did not convert their chances, and they've been a team that have been converting chances. I think that's why they have been so high in the table. I think their XG compared to the goals they score, they outperform their actual XG. So a day like today will kind of get that rein back in, because they did have an XG of 1.81, and at the end of the day, they did not score an actual goal. So that is very rare for them this season, and probably why they haven't lost much at home, because it's been rare for them to get chances and not put them away. All right, now moving along. This is another game that was Sunday morning. This is Crystal Palace and Chelsea. As you can see, Chelsea was cruising 3-0 by the time Enzo Fernandez penalty was converted in the 64th minute. And a consolation goal was scored by the American Chris Richards late in the game after a set piece. A lot of luck for that ball to reach to Richards, but in the end, he nodded it home inside the 6-yard box. But really and truly, all the credit must go to Chelsea in this game. I think Crystal Palace, even though they've been kind of indifferent in the last couple of weeks, I think, with the sale of Gahey coupled with selling Eze before the season start. Mateta has been in atrocious form. It's just all things going bad for them. Munoz, probably arguably their best player last year, out for a long stretch of time. I think he got injured playing with Colombia the last time. So yeah, it's been a struggle for Crystal Palace, and Chelsea coming in did not make it any easier. And to be fair to Palace, they did create things in the game. I mean, you see the big chances all the way at 6, but they did concede 5 big chances themselves. Chelsea had a higher XG, but Crystal Palace not bad, 1.77. They had 3 more shots than Chelsea. But once Wharton got that red card in the 74th minute, down 3-0, the writing was always on the wall. So, but Palace, they had their chances, man, but they missed 5 of them. They missed 5 big chances. So Mateta continued his woeful finishing. I think he leads the league this season in big chances miss. Him and Haaland, I'm pretty sure. But he had one more on the day. Canvo had a huge error for one of the goals. Well, not an error. He basically gave up the penalty. Henderson was a struggle for him. 5.8. But yeah, it just never quite. They just couldn't get it in. They couldn't get it in the goal. Robert Sanchez, a lot of people don't like the guy because he make mistakes, but he made some big saves on the day, so you have to give him his credit. And João Pedro and Estevao. I mean, Estevao, I think mainly because of lack of opportunity, hasn't really set the Premier League alight. But every time he gets to play, it's just obvious how good he is. João Pedro started out decent, then had a big spell where he wasn't doing much. I think this goal gave him 4 in the last 5 Premier League games now. So he's hitting his stride, and Enzo has been really consistent throughout. Not just with the goals and assists, just his overall play. And I think Andre Santos has a new confidence now because he played under Rossini at Strasbourg. So I think he just feels a lot more comfortable when he gets his chances. And I think this coach trusts him, and he knows the coach trusts him because he spent a season with him at Strasbourg where he was the linchpin in the midfield. So yeah, I think, Rossini did a smart move as well when he took off Caicedo, because I thought he was pretty close to being having the same fate as Wharton, and that just shows you what Glasner has to work with. He probably looks in that area of the middle and says, do I bring on a youngster like Caden Rodney for Wharton to play beside Lerma in the midfield? Probably not. You trust, you hopefully hope that Wharton can play and take care of himself on the yellow card, but it wasn't meant to be. And in the end, he got a warranted yellow, second yellow, and he was out the game. But look, I think if Crystal Palace could have converted one of those million big chances earlier in the game, maybe we'll have a different game. But the problem was, it just looked like at any given point, Estevao could get away down that right-hand side and cause damage. He scored the one that he ran away. I think he had another one after that he got away behind the defense again. And yeah, it's an interesting one because I don't know if anybody else thinks these things are correlated, but to me, it's almost as if João Pedro play better when Cole Palmer don't play. I don't know if I'm just making that up, but I don't know. Maybe I'm making that up. But when you look at his heat map, when Cole not playing, it seems like he has more freedom. He doesn't stay right in the width of the 18. He drifts pretty much everywhere. So yeah, let's see if anything changes about where him go on the pitch the next time Cole Palmer playing. Cause I'm just trying to figure out why I'm so up and down, and I wonder if it's when Cole play. I wonder. And Crystal Palace, I think, kind of opposite to West Ham and Forest. I think right now you could probably look at Crystal Palace and say, okay, if you really apply yourself against them, they're kind of checked out this season. I think that they're all wondering what's going to happen. Glasner will be leaving. He said so already. Is it a situation where if the results keep going the way they are in the league, Did they just cut their losses with Glasner now, knowing that he's going to be leaving in the summer? Who knows? But I think all of that is kind of filtering towards the players. And if you watch a game of Crystal Palace from, I don't know, week 8, and you compare it to what they did this weekend, I'm sure you'll see a difference in the energy levels and just everything. And yes, I understand. A part of it is Gay, he ain't there around the back anymore. But at the very least, you should be putting out the maximum effort. And I'm just not sure if Crystal Palace players are doing that. Even the second goal, like how easily João Pedro can just cut in and then shoot on his left foot, like no resistance at all, space everywhere. It just seems like a team that is not fully checked in the games. They're making some serious mistakes, and I just think it has to do with their mental not being in the right place right now. All right, Newcastle, Aston Villa. This was the game at 9 o'clock that I watched about half the Chelsea game and about half of this game. I didn't really watch much of the Brentford Forest game besides like extended highlights and stuff, but these two games were really the ones I was watching Sunday morning. Newcastle Villa, and of course the one we just talked about, Palace and Chelsea. But in this game, I think there was one key factor that pretty much should have made me not pick Newcastle. And that was the fact that this brother Bruno G, who was listed as doubtful before the game, but typically whenever Bruno doubtful in play, like this man is like an Iron Man when it comes down to playing. But he didn't play, wasn't in the lineup at all, wasn't even on the bench. And I think I saw a stat that Bruno G has missed 11 Premier League games since he got there 4 years ago. And I think they have never won a game that he wasn't in the squad. Never. I mean, I think they have drawn some games, but they've never won any of them. So that right there should have let you know. I mean, yes, I know things always get broken, but yeah, that wasn't the case. And Aston Villa, a really workman-like 2-0 performance. Newcastle, it wasn't like a one-sided game at all. I think Newcastle had their decent spells, especially starting out the second half, like really going for that equalizer. But Villa was able to weather the storm. I think I have mentioned that Emi Martinez kind of has let down his Villa team from time to time this season, and I argue that if he had been more on point, they could potentially be right there with Arsenal right now in points. But he definitely was in the mood in this game. Had one of his better games this season. Made some top class saves and just really good handling, not giving up anything. Good with the ball at his feet, no mistakes there. So yeah, great performance by him, and even Nick Pope kept them in the game at 1-0 a couple of times. So you see the goalkeepers getting the highest ratings on the pitch for the game. But overall stats, let's just take a look at that. Goals by Emi Buendia and Ali Watkins in the first and second half, respectively. But this was the expected goals. As you can see, Newcastle way up at 2.18. So again, you have to give credit to Emi Martinez on the day. 3 big chances Newcastle created to 2 for Aston Villa. 1 more shot for Newcastle on the day. Emi had 2 more saves. No, sorry, Pope had 2 more saves than Emi. 8 shots on target for Villa, 4 on target for Newcastle. No shots hitting the woodwork. 4 shots off target. Boom, 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 boom. Big chance scored 1 and 1 missed, and that's on the Villa side. None of the big chances created scored, and 3 of them missed by Newcastle, and that really was the difference in the game. Final third entries, Newcastle had 21 more, 79 to 58. And you see the difference there in the goals prevented stat. Usually the team with the goalkeeper that has the positive goals prevented, whole heap of times out of that, they win the damn game. Newcastle also had a few more errors than Eddie Howe would want, 3 on the day, leading to shots on goal. Now, of course, the Jamaica fan in me have to talk about the return of one of Jamaica's biggest exports as far as football is concerned, and that is Leon Bailey. He came on as the first substitute off the bench for Jadon Sancho, who had a quiet game. Bailey came on and had a similarly quiet game, I thought. 31 minutes played. Let's look at the overall here. 31 minutes played. You see the heat map. So did get a chance to play on his favored right-hand side. And then let's just look at the stats all the way through. 0.02 expected goals. That should have really been higher. Had a breakaway down the right that he just didn't trust going on the right side with. And so the shot was blocked. Very accurate with the passing, 12 of 14. 9 of 10 in opposition half. Passes in his own half. Did have one incomplete at 3 of 4. Had a shot, it was blocked. 21 touches, 2 unsuccessful. Tried 2 dribbles, was unsuccessful on both. Last possession 6 times. You see how much he carried the ball in the game. He had 1 progressive carry. He had 2 defensive contributions, 1 of 2 tackles he attempted, 5 recoveries, 2 of 4 ground duels, 0 for 2 in the aerial duel. So that was Leon Bailey's first game on his return. Some Villa fans happy to see him back, saying that they're happy that he's there as an option, whether to start or off the bench. And to be fair, he did grow into the game. I thought the first couple of times he touched the ball, he did have some misplaced passes, but as you could see by the stats, really held it together after that. And even towards the end of the game, when they had the ball in the corner, had some nice little interchange and footwork to keep possession, and just see out the game right there in the corner there. So it's going to be interesting. I think Leon Bailey, because he knows the team and he knows the manager, and I think the manager has seen, what I would consider the best of Leon Bailey. I don't think he hit the heights he hit a couple seasons ago, since maybe the second season he was at Leverkusen, or the third, I can't remember which one. But yeah, we're talking up there as far as his career, how well Unai Emery had him playing. And Unai Emery is probably saying, look, if the guy is fit, I know I can get a play out of him. So let's see, man. I think he's in the best possible situation. I didn't like how it was going at Roma with the coach, and I didn't really think that the system the coach played really suited Leon, to be honest. But let's see. I think we did see where Unai, even when he brought him on, you could see he was trying to keep him towards that right-hand side. I think Unai knows that that's where you're going to get the best out of him. You can't really expect him to, be playing that inside forward role that we saw him play from time to time before. So I think he's going to have to realize that, yeah, if I bring him on, let's at least make his starting point be the right-hand side. I think he's most comfortable like that. So we'll see. We'll see if he can break his way into the starting lineup. I don't think Jadon Sancho has really impressed to the point where, Bailey don't have a look in for the first team as well. But yeah, when John McGinn comes back, then that's when I think Bailey will really have a challenge to get into the starting lineup. But I think him and Sancho could easily rotate for the next couple of weeks, to be honest, because I don't think the coach has seen or been able to get the best out of Sancho since he's been there. And if you're looking at which player the coach has gotten the best out of at Villa in the past, I think Bailey definitely wins that argument. So a 2-0 win for Villa. So they kept right there in touch with Manchester City. And going into the next game, they knew they had a 4-point gap now to the leaders, Arsenal. Newcastle, look, I think if you're being really simple about it, you can put it down to Bruno not playing. But I think the main thing going on with them right now is they're not finishing their chances well enough. Harvey Barnes has been a decent player this season. He missed a big chance. I think Wissa didn't have a big chance. I know Trippier had a chance to put a cross in the box and did foolishness one at a time. Them. Yeah, Altamar got chance to. So how would he get the chance then? I try to remember. Look on the shot them. Okay, yeah, that was a huge chance. Man, go through everybody. And then that was a lucky save though. It hit off the man's foot. Yeah, Miley should have done better here with that. Actually, no, I can't even say he should have done better. That was a rotted save by Martinez, now that I remember it. The ball was behind him. and the man reached back for it. Harvey Barnes should have done better there. Like, I don't know how. Garden as well. So, I mean, look, they had their chances, brother, to get back in the game. But when Emi Martinez saving ball, it's like you as a striker, I think you have to make it so precise to score. And yeah, it was just one of them days, man. Emi good for a couple of days like that in the season where no matter where you throw towards the goal, he just stop it. And today was the day for that. So 46 points, them and Manchester City get to going into match week 24. And the last game of Sunday was probably the biggest game of the weekend. Not probably, was the biggest game of the weekend. And I'm sure the one that a lot of you here were ready to hear me discuss, and that is the Arsenal versus Man U game. So going into this game, I think the main talking point for Arsenal perspective was who is going to start up front. And the argument was, is it going to be Gabriel Jesus or is it going to be Victor Gyökeres? Now, Jesus in midweek had the 2 goals against Inter Milan. Coach subs him off. And at the time when he subbed him off, I'm thinking, okay, he's saving him up because he had such a good day today. Gyökeres comes on, gets probably his best finish of the season in that game to make it 3. And immediately people are wondering, where does that put Arteta's thinking now? Because maybe when he was subbing on Gyökeres, in the back of his mind, he's saying, okay, Jesus put his hand up, he's starting. And then Gyökeres has a good performance, scores a good goal, and, puts his hand up as well to say, hey, pick me to start. Well, he went with the tried and trusted from years past, and that was Jesus. So Trossard, Jesus, and Saka up front. Same exact forward line that played Inter. Zubimendi got the start as well. And really and truly, of those 4 players, the only player that played good this game was Saka. And, at times, sometimes I think Saka ends up playing well because he just gets so many chances. But then you have to think about it. Even if you're giving him a lot of chances to get the ball, that don't mean him have to do something good with it. So you have to give him his credit at the end of the day. My whole issue with Saka right now is you have to finish. You have to score. Like, you are the guy up there. Like, in years past, you were doing it. The Liverpools, the Uniteds, the team, the big games, you were scoring. This year, you just hit a wall with the goals, bro. I don't know why you can't score a goal. But Zubimendi, I think his worst performance of the season, to be honest. If you look at the first goal, it's his back pass. If you look at the second goal with Dorgu, he's literally just played around. I mean, he even like reads the pass to Dorgu, but still somehow like misses the ball with his left foot. Because he should cut out that pass. It wasn't the greatest pass back from Bruno. It was like a hopeful flick and it got through. So yeah, Zubi really, I think honestly, that Inter Milan game, even though we won the game handily, they took a lot out of Zubimendi. He did a lot of running in that game. And again, it just goes back to like, that game meant nothing. And I remember telling everyone, like, play the kids, play the kids, play the kids. Now, when we didn't play the kids and we went relatively strong and we beat Inter, yes, I felt good about myself. And yes, it's nice to see that we're at the top of the Champions League phase thing and all of that. But in the grand scheme of things and where we are as a team right now, none of that stuff matters to me. None of it. I've heard the calendar year champ. I've heard against the big 6 we have the most. I've heard all of these meaningless stats that haven't added up to the title, which is what we want, right? So I know I hear none of them something there. But Rice and Odegaard were rested in Inter Milan. They started. Rice was decent. Odegaard was non-existent. And this has to be the worst ratings the backline going to get this season and got all. This is definitely the worst they got all season. I mean, David Raya at a 5.1 is just diabolical. Like, it's just not good enough. It's just not good enough. And the entire backline, just low 6s, Saliba, poor. I mean, just not good enough. I think all of them made at least one error. Kapie was, I don't know, man. He needs to answer for this one. Unless Nkapie could have played the last few games and the man just been being super cautious. I just don't see how Nkapie comes back in to start this game. I know I just argued that some of the players didn't need to play the last game and play this one. But Miles Lewis Skelly, for me, like, he's finally looking confident again. And he has done it in the Premier League before, playing City at home, playing City away. I mean, he's not, it's not like the occasion is too big for him. So I just would have liked him to just play Miles, man, and not putting Kapia in at the deep end, because you could tell obviously he had to come up in the 58th minute, which we'll talk about in a minute, because that 58th minute quadruple sub, like, how you guys feel about that? I didn't like it very much, because it's almost like the whole anxiety of the fans and everything kind of got to him too, the players and the coach. All right. But that's my little start on Arsenal. Now, Manchester United, let's really analyze what's going on here. So I told everybody in the preview that I would be shocked if anything changed from the first game. Not that the game would be the same as what it was against City, but I just felt like that setup, one of Mbuemo, Cunha, Sesko up top, keep the same three behind them, that would work. And I figured it would be Mbuemo again, because to me, Mbuemo, out of the three of them, is probably that attacker that is going to just do that hard running. Like, for example, I don't know if the first goal that United scores, I don't know if Cunha scores that goal. I just think Mbuemo is more of a, he's of the three of them, he's the most poaching type player. So he's gonna just have this instinct to, let me just be in this half space just in case. Let me just cut off this pass to the keeper just in case. So I think when you're playing that type of counter-attacking game, I think it's pretty obvious right now, or forever moving forward, if they're going to play that type of approach against a team, Mbuemo, to me, has to be the guy up front. I mean, he's proven 2 games in a row now is really good at maybe not getting, not necessarily getting the ball for long periods, and then when he gets it, playing as if he had been touching it the whole last 10 minutes. He's just really sharp. And also, of the three, he's probably the most direct runner, because you could see, like, any time the defense got the ball and played it to any of the midfielders, Mbuemo was making a vertical run. And that was the key, really, to getting Bruno on the ball in the half space. Even though that wasn't really the key to what United did, I don't think it was a situation where United, like, against City, they like dominated parts of the game. I don't think United dominated any part of this game, really. But I do think that what United did really well was the parts of the game where the possession and the ball and the territory was being dominated by us. We did not do enough in those moments to really threaten Manchester United. I thought Maguire and Martinez were comfortable. I don't think Shaw and Dalot were great, but I don't think that our wingers did enough to make that really mean something, But Dorgu, credit to him, I mean, this man really and truly has been a revelation since moving to the higher position on the field. And he scored one that I'm sure he'll never forget. Now, I guess the concern for United fans would be right when this man is getting into form and finding his feet. It looked as if on that last sprint before he was substituted, his hamstring might have gone. So hopefully for the United fans and for him, it's not no long-term thing. But hamstring usually 2 to 4 weeks. So at least a couple of weeks he probably won't be around. Cole seems to me like he doesn't allow some players to have a good game, which might be because he's a free role player. Yeah, it's almost like when Cole and Pedro and Enzo play, it's too many players that just want to run everywhere. That they're like positionless in a way. Like how some Arsenal fans don't believe in the coach. Is it possible that we might see you apply for the job if you got sacked with Cranky in your assistant coach? Brother, if Cranky get on that coaching staff, we're doomed. Good to see Bailey in the EPL again. Yeah, man. Great. You rather them coach Arsenal than Jamaica? No. Some people wouldn't want a Trini coach in Jamaica, you know. I can tell you that right now. All right, let's just look at the overall stats in the game. Arsenal had the edge in possession, 56-44. We had the better expected goals, 1.19 to 0.71, but the goals that really matter, 3-2. So who cares? Two big chances for Manu, and with all the possession, high expected goals, only one big chance we create. And that's been a theme for us, you know. We're not really creating enough big chances for me as a team, especially not from open play. 15 shots to 10. Arsenal had the advantage. Raya played the entire game, 3 goals going in net, and him don't make one save. My word. It's not good. 2 yellows for Arsenal, none for United. 4 shots on target for Arsenal, 3 for United. Big chances scored, 1 and 1 missed. Arsenal did score the one big chance they created. Can't believe we played 2 through balls. That's amazing. Manu had more entries than us into the final third. So that tells you right there. The more dangerous attacking team. One big save by Lamens. That had to be the header from Zubimendi in the first half. That was a brilliant save. But look at that, man. Negative 2.56 in a boss. That's terrible. That's terrible. 2 errors leading to shot, 1 error leading to a goal. And yeah, that's it right there. Even Manu tried to give us something. They had 2 errors leading to shots, which never amounted to nothing. But yeah, man, it was not a good game. Again, Saka plays. Only one side of the pitch is used. Man United did favor the left-hand side with Dorgu, which is rare because typically teams won't really go at Timber so much, but that was kind of the side of the field that Bruno would typically kind of drift towards. So they were using that, Dorgu, Bruno, Kobe would also kind of combine with them on that side. So they really did like attacking down that side more. But man, negative 2.56 is criminal for goals prevented, bro. Mm-mm-mm. And you see the poor display. Marino came on as usual, did a good performance. Eze, not good enough. Yokerez, not good enough. Madueke, not good enough. Ben White looked like he was still asleep on the field. He just never looked ready to come on. And then Cunha came on and made the difference, After we got the crappy goal from Marino, they didn't get called right away, but the ball did go over the line before Sesko could clear it. Um, but Cunha came on in the 69th minute for Mbuemo, pretty much like for like. Now, when Dorgu had to come off and Sesko came on, really and truly, that kind of adjusted it a little bit and gave Cunha the role I think he enjoys more, which is just off the striker, whether off the left, central, or off the right. He would prefer to not be that focal point. You can tell it's like his game changes when he's not the 9. And because of that switch, that little interplay, Sesko first of all wins the first ball. It falls to, I believe, Bruno. Bruno finds Kobe, and in that split second when Bruno is running out to the left, Marino is chasing him. He reverses it infield to Kobe, and Marino slips and goes out to the play. Now Rice thinks he can sneak up on Menu and win the ball from him, but Menu would see him a long time and kind of give him the eyes and play it through him legs. And once Cunha turns and goes, Eze is ahead of the play. Marino is getting up off the ground, and Rice has gambled to win that pass that Menu plays. So all three of our central midfielders out the play. And Gabriel and Saliba have to be on the last line because Sesko has made a run, which kind of takes their attention. So Gabriel doesn't want to just leave the line. He's kind of measured there. And that was it. Cunha, space in front of him, at least 10 yards, can get it to the middle of the field, use Gabriel in his position to screen the shot and kind of show him where the angle needs to be to get it in the far post. And the execution was perfect. Yeah, the execution was perfect. So, but without Dorgu going down injured, I wonder, does that goal score the same? Because Sesko, if that happens like that, that would have been Dorgu receiving that ball. Now we've seen Dorgu score already in the game, so I'm not saying he couldn't score, but just based on how the play developed and him running in off the left on his right foot, I don't know if Dorgu can give you that shot on his right foot. I don't know, maybe, but I would more want Cunha there on his right foot to take the shot. So it's funny how football goes, man. Without that injury, Sesko don't come on, which moved Cunha to the position he was in to receive that pass and score. So yeah, football is a serious thing. Serious thing. For Cranky, not so sure because he used to be saying Cephas and anything. Now him say Cephas no good. Yeah, man, Cranky is a football fan. But yeah, as far as setting up my team tactically, nah. That was a one-off. What was a one-off? The shot by my boy. Well, no. I mean, Dorgu, if it on his left foot, he probably could do it with the confidence he have after the first goal, yeah. But as I said, running in from that angle, it would have been a right foot shot, you know. So Dorgu wouldn't take that shot, more than likely. Why is your name Jason Gooner TV? Where did it come from? All right, well, my first name is Jason. You know, Arsenal fans are sometimes Gunners, Gooners. You know, there's a lot of nicknames for Arsenal fans. So I just took the Gooner one. And the TV part just comes from the fact that I make content and, you know, it's like, this is like my TV channel. So yeah, that's why. That's pretty much why. Do not touch. Yeah. I didn't think it was so like, it wasn't that thought out at all. Just my first name, a moniker that Arsenal fans have, and the TV part is just, you know, like a channel part of it, you know? Yeah. Thought it was pretty self-explanatory. But maybe you don't know the origin of Guna. Because that's possible. Not everybody would know that that's like an Arsenal thing. All right, so let me go back because I wasn't really done yet with this blowout game. All right, so I think I've basically touched on all that Manu did. Very solid. Have to give credit as well to, I did already, but I'm going to give it again. Maguire and Martinez, solid. Solid. I'm hearing people saying Menu was world class and oh my gosh. I mean, yes, he was good, people. He was good. All right, but let's not overdo it here. He was good. I think Casemiro was better than him. Let's be real. Let's keep it 100. Let's keep it 100. But Arsenal, not bloody good enough. I mean, the first part of the game, before we got own goal, yeah, really good stretch. A lot of good play. Saka was pretty much unplayable for that first part of the game, just beating his man over and over. But again, you know, Jesus just the difference from the week performance to the one on the weekend is like night and day. I mean, he faced tough defenders against Inter, did his thing. But against United, he was just a shell of himself. I mean, the things that normally he always does, like first touch, ball control. I mean, one time I remember he got a ball out on the left on like a counter, but he should have just held the ball up and kept possession. Couldn't even do that. Fumble over the ball, try to back heel it, end up miskicking it, and it goes for a throw. And I'm just like, what is wrong with this guy? Then even one time on like a kind of somewhat of a counter opportunity, his first touch was so poor, he just touched it way over one part and went right to Martinez, and then they took the ball from us. So yeah, it just him starting. I can't really beat Arteta for starting him because based on the Inter game, it's one of those things where if he didn't start him and we don't win the game, people are saying, "Is this man an idiot? The man scored 2 against Inter Milan and on form, why not play him?" So I understood the Jesus started. I understood it. I think Trossard might be at the end of his rope right now in terms of, he had that spell where he was probably our most consistent attacker for a while. And, it's been a good little while now in the league where we haven't really seen anything from him. And in some other competitions where he's not starting, we've seen Martinelli score some goals. So, or even go back to what he was doing earlier in the season, and let's give Eze a play on the left-hand side. Now, he hasn't gone back to it ever since the Aston Villa goal, where Matty Cash got in behind on that left-hand side. But, I mean, you can't not play a player somewhere for one defensive lapse when the true reason you play that player there is for what he's going to do in the attacking third. So give him a chance to show us some more stuff in the attacking third again. You know what I'm saying? But, I think Arteta really in his brain knew that he maybe didn't get it right, because as soon as they score in the 53rd minute, I think it was 50th minute, the Dorgu wonder strike. About 7 minutes later, he goes mad with the substitutions. He takes off Jesus, he takes off Zubimendi, Odegaard, and Nkapie, and he brings on Ben White, so that put Timber over to left back. He brings on Mikel Merino, he brings on Eze, and he brings on Gyökeres. So, basically what he did was Merino played off the right, Rice moved to central, Eze played off the left. The problem was, it looked to me like both Eze and my boy Merino, them never know which one of them must go forward some of the time. And they kind of end up being on the same level. And I've said it before, for once, I wish that they would, if Eze is going to play in the midfield, please play a shape more like what United play. Don't shade him off to one side. Let him play where Bruno plays, and look at Bruno heat map. Yes, he drifts a little more to the left, but you see some spots in the inside right too. That's how Eze needs to play. When Eze comes on, you put him one side. Okay, he had a little variation, but I think that came after that came when Noni came on. It was kind of reset up once Noni came on. But those 4 subs, man, it was like, it's almost like I hear the fans how nervous they are, so I need to do something crazy right now. I just wonder how much of that 4 subs at once was just down to the atmosphere in the stadium and him feeling like he had to do something to just lift the fans. Look, I get it. Zubimendi made a big mistake and probably wasn't having his best game, so I probably would have taken him off too. But could he have done anything differently with these subs? I mean, I felt like Trossard could have been one of the ones to come off when he made the 4 subs. Just didn't think he was influencing the game enough. I thought Martinelli should have came on. I just feel like right now he's in decent nick. He's he looked decent against Inter as well. He just looked sharper than he looked like last season and everything. So I don't know if I'm going 90 minutes and not getting him on the pitch at all. Especially seeing that against Man City, he came on with the equalizing goal, and he's had big moments off the bench this season. So I was just surprised that he went with Noni in the 75th minute and not Martinelli when he brought off Trossard, especially knowing that it made Saka have to go over to the left-hand side and Noni was on the right. It didn't make sense to me, that sub. So not saying the players that he brought on didn't make total sense, because I wanted Marino to come on, I wanted Eze to come on, I wanted Gyökeres to come on. All these players I wanted to get game time and come on. But I didn't like that it was 4 at once. You get 3 substitute windows, right? How about doing 2 and then you let that happen 5-10 minutes and then you do 2 more and then you have 1 in reserve in the 75th, 80th minute or whatever to try to change it again. But the 4 at once, just it almost was like it tied in with the whole atmosphere of the stadium, like almost like panic and just over emotional, and it just, I don't know, man. And the thing is, like, how many times have you ever seen him do that many subs at once? So it must have been the whole atmosphere of the game and the fans, and that must have triggered that, because I've never seen him do that before. Never seen him make 4 subs at once. Maybe he has, and I'm just not remembering. It's possible, but I can't remember it, brother. I cannot remember it. Cunha, can't believe the team let me down, man. I tell you, Man U fans get a buzz. Yeah, man, you can't chat to them. Yeah, Jesus, he was horrible. That is true. To me, he's scared of get back injured. He pulling out of plays. Maybe he need to be sold. The coach or player should be held accountable for the results in the past. I think both. Because there have been games in these 3 games where we haven't gotten a win. Like the Forest game, for example. I don't think it was anything that Mikel did, but we didn't win that game. The players made enough chances in that game, honestly. I know I've been complaining about chances, but that game we had chances, literally an open, empty net, and we couldn't score. So I think they're both culpable. I do think that if I had to weight it though towards one, I would probably say it's 70-30 towards Mikel, because I do think that some of the players' performances being so bad is kind of down to him playing them out of form. So he has to take some of the damn blame, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, so I would say if I put in a percentage on it, about 70 Arteta, 30 players, because I think the players do have to be held accountable as well. He panicked, he need to change that. Yeah, it just reeked of panic, bro. The 4 changes at once, it was just like, damn. Like, you really think that your starting 11 was that bad that you have to change 4 of them in one time? Like, damn. And it just shows. I mean, Carrick didn't even, he went old school, even with an injury. He only had 3 subs, like back when he was playing, So it is what it is, man. Saka, we need end product, my brother. No point beating Luke Shaw 55 times if you don't create anything from them. And Declan Rice, like, how many times this season has Declan Rice been running at the opponent's box like a 4v3, 3v3, whatever, and he never makes the right decision? It's like, at this point, it's getting annoying. It's almost like, is he really being maximized in the position he plays? Because I don't think he can do what we need when he's breaking towards the other team's box. He's not, well, put it this way, he's never going to play the pass that you're not thinking, which is what you kind of need in those moments. Like, maybe you look off the pass and then slip it the other way the last minute. He's not doing that. He's very robotic. So he's going to look and play it over to Saka or play it over to Trossard or shoot, but it's not, there's not enough. It's just not, he's not that player. And he gets in those offensive positions a lot. And if he's not wide and kind of whip the ball in, I mean, he's really not that good in that position. But yeah, I mean, he does do a lot though out of possession in that position, because he's such a ball hawk that a lot of times that out ball is to the player he's marking in the build-up, and he'll get around them and win that ball. So it's pros and cons to him being there though, man. It's pros and cons. Pros and cons to him being there. Just which one outweigh which this season will tell, time will tell. Because one thing we know, this man Arteta is a stubborn man. So if this is the three that he loves in midfield, this is the three you're going to see in all the big game them. So let's see. Let's see, man. But hey, I'll say it again. Congrats to United. Well played, well deserved. You guys were more clinical and you had the moments of brilliance that we just couldn't have. We didn't have them. So I have to give you the credit. And the final game of the week was Everton and Leeds. Leeds took the lead, and it was looking like another away team was going to get 3 points. But in the second half, I have to give kudos to David Moyes. I think he made all the moves as a manager that kept them in the game. And then towards the end of the game, I think those moves he made to start the second half really made the end of the game better for them. He switched to the same system as Leeds at halftime because Leeds definitely were well on top in the first half. I mean, they pretty much dominated the first half. And if it wasn't for a little bit of luck and some decent saves, they would have been 2-3 up at halftime. But the second half was a completely different game. He brought on Branthwaite and Dewsbury Hall. And I think just them coming on just galvanized the fans because they were two players that I'm sure the fan base would have been waiting to come back, especially Branthwaite. And they just kept working themselves into the game. And then by the time he brought on Dibbling for Patterson and went back to the back four, I think that was just a master stroke by him to start that second half basically mimicking their system just to kind of just plug the gaps that they were opening up in the first half. And then once they took some of that confidence from them, he went back to his tried and trusted back four, took off the right wing back to bring on a right winger in Dibbling. And it was I just thought it was really good management by Moyes. And soon after going to the back four, another cross from the right and a finish in the box by Barry, who had just had a wicked shot save right before the goal. And then, both teams had their little glimpses at goal to end the game. Everton, I thought, was going to win it at home, but Leeds held out in the end, and Darlow had some big saves and some good defensive blocks and actions, and they were able to hold out for the point. But David Moyes, I think, definitely earned the point for Everton. I think it looked like one team was going to win after the first half. And yeah, they had the bulk of their expected goals in that half. And look at the difference. Second half, they were much quiet, no big chance, only 4 shots. First half, 10 shots, 3 big chances. So, Moyes just showing his PL experience, I thought, today, really managing his team to a point when Leeds looked like they were going to run away with the game. But it was a good game of football. I thought Everton was really boosted by the return of NDI, Idrissa, and then of course now Branthwaite and Dewsbury Hall coming back. So it's looking good for them moving forward. Of course, they will be without Jack Grealish and Michael Keane coming back from suspension. But let's see. What will the coach do? Now he has some decisions to make on the back line. O'Brien went back to right back once Branthwaite came in and they went back to the back four. But Michael Keane has been playing really good this season. So what will he do in that centre-back area moving forward? And will he go back to the back five every now and again moving forward? Since he has so many fit centre-backs now, that's something to look out for too. So Leeds didn't fall. They got a point away from home. They'll take it, I'm sure. And they have next week, they will host Arsenal. So they are definitely looking forward to playing the role of spoiler when it comes on to facing Arsenal next week. So it won't get any easier for the Gunners, as Ellen Road has been quite a bad venue for a lot of teams this year. But 1-1, the spoils were shared in this one. Now, people, I don't really want to have to reveal the damn stuff, because trust me, some bad picks make this week. I'm telling you, we are horrible. We're not very good at this thing right now, but let's not run away from the truth, people. So I will pull up on the screen, and I just want to say maximum respect again to all those who played this week. We had the numbers back up to a decent number this week, so we greatly appreciate it. I know over the Christmas period we kind of had a little drop off, and family comes first on this platform every time, so that's how it go. But now that we're back in the full swing of things, love to see the numbers back up to the level that we used to this week. So give me a little bit more work and a little more tracking down to do. But hey, this ain't work when when you're having fun. That's what they always told me, and that's so true. So let's go ahead and get the and the winner for the week is that's not what we need. Hold on there. The winner for the week is, let's try this again. The winner for the week is Fitzroy G, 4 and 6, 1 correct score. And yes, he only got 4 correct, but the man is the winner for the week. So congratulations to you, match week 23. Got the 2-0 Manchester City win spot on. Also predicted the draw Burnley-Tottenham, the win Fulham over Brighton, and also the Nottingham Forest traveling to Brentford and getting a win. Oh, no, sorry, Chelsea. I was like, yo, you really pick Forest? Yo, that's the best pick ever. Okay, so yeah, 4 and 6, but that one correct result, the 2-0 City win, is what got him over the line for the trophy this week. Pristine, so close to the victory. Also 4 and 6, but just could not predict any game. Totally correct. Fulham win, you got right. Manchester City win, you got right. Chelsea over Palace, you got right. And also Aston Villa over Newcastle, you were also correct. There were 3 players tied at 3 and 7 with 1 correct score. Shout out to Mass Sports World, Hot Chili, and Float Management for tying for the 3rd spot this week. And we had a bunch of people that ended up on 3 and 7, and a couple of people that were 2 and 8, but they got 1 correct score. And that 1 correct score was the difference between them being the donkey of the week and not being the donkey of the week. But the donkey of the week, people, it was a lot of people wanted to be donkey this week. Only 3 of us were bad enough to be. And yeah, you heard me say, oh, let me do this. For this one, people, here's the reveal. It's a damn shame. Jason Gooner TV, Jaguars, and Apache. 2 and 8 on the week, people. The only 2 games I was able to predict. Well, none of them are predicted perfectly. But I did say City would win, and I did say Chelsea would win. Every other game I got wrong this week. The same boat Jaguars fell into. His games were Man City and Chelsea as well. And Apache, I'm pretty sure, no, Apache was completely different. Apache's correct games were West Ham win and Man City winning. But he actually had Palace beating Chelsea. So, yep, 2 and 8 for all 3 of us. And that's basically makes sense for my week. You know, Arsenal lose to Man United, and I get donkey of the week for the week. Makes perfect sense, doesn't it? Yeah, man. It was a rough week for me all over the place. So was FPL that rough for me? Well, we're about to find out. Arteta just need to be more braver. Yeah, it would help. He's a good manager, but when occasion is big this season, he failed to step up. Man City, Liverpool, and now Man U. Arsenal kill me and you both, my brother. Last match week, you sound disappointed because your team got 1 point, and you seem that the coach should have went for the win. And I said you seem like you would be okay with no points. Yeah. And my reply was, what the hell? Yeah, my reply, I remember that convo we had, gigs. You were kind of like trying to figure out like what I was really wanting. And I was just saying, be more brave, man. Take more chances. And it's not even necessarily like it's kind of with the personnel, but it's more so like the style I see. There's this one play in particular that was like the biggest example of why we're struggling to create an offense in attack. Right before we gave away the goal, Rice plays the ball to Zubimendi, facing his goal. So he plays a one-time pass to Zubimendi, curls his run and goes up the field. Casemiro is trailing him. There's literally like 30 yards of green grass if the man just play the pass into the path of Rice to run onto it. Instead of playing that pass, breaking the line, getting us away from our pressure zone, he decides to go back to Saliba, retreat and try to get back a square pass, not set, running back way, backpedaling, and then tries to play a pass one time, backpedaling all the way to the keeper when there's a player infield waiting for the mistake. But all that stems from him not playing that forward pass when he get it from Rice. And that happens too often. Even when we play that forward pass and we get into the final third, you know how much time the winger or whoever is there facing up with the 1v1 just take some little full touch and just make the team come up and join him. None of us are instinctive. None of our players in attack are instinctive. It's all rigidity. Where's my safe pass? Where's my safe pass? Where's my safe pass? It's like, bro, you have to break out of that shit, man. You gotta go for it, bro. I mean, I troll Bruno all the time, like about how him spam the ball and lose the ball and this and that. But without a Bruno, you're not gonna get it. This is why we miss Partey. Yeah, but the problem, Skull, is we would miss Partey when he was on our team because he would be injured all the fucking time. Like, why do people forget that? I don't understand. Partey was always out. Always. Especially when it was the biggest times of the season, he would always be out. And all right, you want to see what Thomas Partey been doing this season? And that's the thing, bro. I have seen Zubimendi play for Sociedad and Spain. The man plays through forward passes all the fucking time. So it must be the manager, brother. That may I tell you, is the manager. Yeah, what's that? 2 times already. Oh, that was with Arsenal. So I'm actually get through the entire season to December and get injured. Not bad. Not bad. All right, so make we see. Season so far, 6.5 rating. That's Champions League. Let's look at La Liga. 6.68. He make 14 appearances, 7 starts, playing 48 minutes per game. So the man is at the stage of his career now where he have to be playing this type of minutes to stay healthy. Start half the game, then play about half the games per game. I mean, it was time, bro. All right. Where I will agree with you, why we couldn't just keep him on the squad? So that when Zubimendi need a break, is him a play and not Norgard, who you don't even want to play. So why did we get Norgard? If you don't trust him to play midfield ever, you only have used him when the centre backs had a crisis and you needed a centre back. So why you better get him for? What was the point? Oh boy. Yeah, the best ability is availability, and him just don't have that so much. It's the PSG game and Chelsea game. Okay, make your anger. It's the manager. Yeah, but I did mention I didn't saw the game and the lead can slip away by the blink of an eye in the EPL. That's a fact. That's a fact. It's the manager telling the player, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, look, bro, I'm not saying that Gyökeres is like Haaland or whatever, but you can't tell me, say, the way we play, make Gyökeres can't score goal. Because the man scored too much goal. I don't care what league he was in. Yes, I didn't expect him to score 95 in 2 seasons like when he was in Portugal, but I'm not expecting him to score 5 in the first, 23 game of the Premier League. I'm not expecting that. I'd expect at least 10 by now. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I don't know, man. I've just seen too many attacking players get under this manager and regress. Like, I don't know. It's got to fall on him as well. All right, people, before we head out for the day, because we are at the full game time for the match today, let's just take one look at the Premier League table, because that is getting spicy at both ends of the table too, to be honest. So Wolves and Burnley, like I said, I'm not ready to cancel Burnley just yet. But boy, if them can't go on a run like what West Ham just go on like 2 wins in a row or something like that, it's gonna really start to look like the inevitable. Wolves, yeah, I think that's about it. 8 points at this point, but 17 points from safety. I mean, there's still 15 games to play, so a lot of games, but boy, I don't know, man. I just feel like, especially with the form that West Ham and Nottingham Forest, I think, are going to find as we move to the crunch time of the season. Leeds as well, looking like a formidable setup team. Palace is the team I would be looking at and saying, boy, could they end up down in the bottom three? Because I just don't see any end to what they have going on right now. I mean, it looks like Mateta could be out the door as well. So who knows? That's one to watch. I mean, I know right now they look safe, but don't be surprised, people, if they get dragged closer and closer to that relegation zone as the weeks go by. I just feel like once your manager is checked out like that, it's gonna be too much inconsistency in their performance. And if I was a betting man, I would not be taking many Crystal Palace wins from now till the end of the season. As I promise you. Tottenham in 14th right now, tied on points with Crystal Palace, which is sad because they're both struggling. Bournemouth in 13th after that win. So unbeaten in their last three, 2 wins and a draw. That has them up to 13th now on 30 points. Brighton, tough loss for them at the end of the game. They are still on 30 points in 12th now. Sunderland, how far they have fallen from, I guess, about 4 or 5 weeks ago. Only 1 win in their last 5, and they are on 33 points in 11th position. Everton, with that draw today, moves up into 10th position on 33 points. Newcastle lost the game, fell a few spots down to 9th on 33. Brentford lost as well. That's two on the bounce they have lost. They are down to 8th now on 33 points. Fulham, big last minute winner, gets you right back in the thick of things for top 4, top 6. They're in 7th now on 34 points. Liverpool, after 4 straight draws, lose a game to Bournemouth, and now they are down to 6th position on 36 points. Chelsea up to 5th with 2 wins on the bounce. They're on 37 points. Manchester United, people. Yes, I said it. Manchester United up to 4th position, 38 points. Just give them the league now. They could actually make a run all the way to the title, guys. Aston Villa and Man City tied on 46 points, but Villa only 10 goal difference. Man City plus 26 now took the goal difference advantage ahead of Arsenal on plus 25, but 4 points ahead on 50 points. But that gap is dwindling, people. So that is it as far as the table is concerned. In the fantasy this week, it's much like the rest of my damn week, only 1 point ahead of the average for the world. And as far as the leagues are going, I still somehow I'm leading 3 of these leagues. I'm second in 1, and in the iSports Fearless League, which is a much larger league than any of the other ones I'm in in 13th position now, but we're coming from first in that. So it's really been a horrendous show in the last couple of weeks. But this is how we got here, people, by making stupid decisions with the lineup. So Gabriel and Timber and Saka, right? Just being a fucking Arsenal fan and like, yeah, but now bench them, brother. Like a clean sheet, 3 love, Saka squad. Fucking idiot. You have Chalobah up on the bench playing a shitty Palace team. I probably wouldn't have started Igor Jesus over Thiago, so I'm not going to kill myself over that. You know what I'm saying? Thiago had chances, should have scored in the game. And how am I to know that the man going to bench Haaland against Wolves? I'm thinking Wolves. The man Haaland might break out time slump, score a hat-trick. I don't know. So it was kind of tough there, but I'm really pissed off that I looked at this lineup and I really left Timber and Gabriel on the field. Like, man, you create a lot of chances this season. Them have the new manager bounce. Them just beat City. Why? Like, me deserve this for reach me because I know it wrong, you know. I'm still left it that way there. I wouldn't even say, okay, me bench Timber. Allow Gabriel can maybe score a goal. I'm put the 2 of them, brother. Like a real done said. So yeah, I have to stop. Pick my team them watch it. Man, I'll drop out of the cup them because of this fuckery, no man. So somehow I beat the person at 45-42 in the USA Cup. So luckily I play against a man who horrible like me. And then in the draft league now, I'm in the 3rd position in this. John Star. I'm the way behind though. So 39. And look on all them points up on my bench again. 9 and 11. Jesus. So. See? Start 2 Arsenal, man. Bench Cunha. Like a real jackass. People, when you play fantasy, take your fucking feelings out of it and just take out your feelings out of it. Yo, I'm the 14 of this, how I reach so far down, brother. Cleat. All right, 44. Rogers on my bench. Well, I really thought he was going to Newcastle and do nothing, you know. From where they might get a bag of defensive contribution points to, you know, making him a bench. Sure, he didn't do one. Ross. Aronson get them too. Wilson are the real boss. Boy, Virgil do a bag of foolishness and still get 9 points. You know, say fantasy, a real fantasy. Probably losing at this, I'm sure. What? I win a game? I lie. Every week, I losing at this, you know, man. My Sports World draft league, I have hit like matchups every week, you know. So let me see who play results. Oh, I'm beat Mass. Wonderful. Bragging rights. So I get 48 and beat Mass 48-37. Where I go now? Gay and O'Reilly. I'm still bench Cunha over here. Could have been even better. Because I played the whole of my Arsenal idiot them. Just for them the foolishness. I know I got up next week, you know. I got vexed with Arsenal, bench all of my Arsenal man them, and them I give Leeds 5 love. I might just bench them on purpose just to make sure that happens. Anyway, people, big up on yourselves. Thanks so much. Do Arsenal benefit new central forward though, based on how they played. I feel like they have enough players are in the team that I've seen play with a center forward that I know that they could play with a center forward. So it must be the way the coach want them play why them can't do it. Because the same man Odegaard play with a man named Haaland for Norway. And the amount of chance Mr. Odegaard get Haaland through the channel, on the ground, choose ball, over the top. But for Arsenal, they don't do that. I'm like, why the hell? I was, and I shouldn't have. But anyway, people, big up on yourselves. Thanks so much for tuning in. This was a very difficult show to do because I knew I would have to talk about Arsenal losing to Man United, one of the worst things that could happen to me as an Arsenal fan. But listen, it's not my first go around, so I understood the assignment, and hopefully I got through it well enough and spoke as truthfully as I could without being biased. You know what I'm saying? I'm one of the few. I would say I'm a non-deluded Arsenal fan. We are in the minority, but I would say I'm one of those. And hopefully that came across today in my reasoning about the games, that game and all the games that went on this weekend. But people, next week we'll fight again. Thank the Lord, Champions League is Wednesday, so I can kind of at least have that not be the last memory of my team moving forward. I can just have something else in my brain before the Leeds game, so that's good. And yeah, we'll be back next week, Friday. Well, not next week, this week, Friday, for the preview show for match week 24. Lots of big games coming up again this week, and we'll be here to break them all down, give previews. And people, please, we need to do better as a collective, man. People going to just start to troll our whole platform, our whole channel, and our whole subscriber base if we can't get more wins in these damn selections. But to be fair, there have been some mad results in the Premier League, so I think what we need to do as a collective is start to really realize that teams that you think will not win games, we'll pull them out from time to time. It's just about picking which one of those games will happen at the time. That's the key. Anyway, people, thanks again for the support. I'm Jason Gooner. This is Jason Gooner TV. Oh, let me check the poll that we had up. I'm pretty sure I know the answer, and I was right. I figured that the winning match this week would be the Arsenal-Manchester United game, and it was a great game. We saw Bournemouth and Liverpool get some votes as well as the Burnley, Tottenham, and the Fulham-Brighton games. Not sure who the hell voted those two, but hey, to each his own. But people, big up on yourselves. Thanks so much again. I just want to let you guys know, all the people that watch my reasoning time content that kind of focuses and hones in on all things Jamaican football. I have another episode coming up this Wednesday. We had one that covered a range of topics last week, Thursday. But one of the topics we covered actually has led to this episode coming up on Wednesday of Reasoning Time. I will have on the program JFF Operations Manager Omar McFarlane. He'll be here to say his piece and give his take on everything from what the things that I would have talked about in my show Thursday, as well as some other things that he wants to let the public know as well. And we will have the discussion and we will take questions from the chat, and I will have some questions prepared. So you guys make sure to tune in and make that show a vibrant one. We want to make sure that if you guys have any thoughts, anything you think you want to ask him, anything at all, I'm going to try to pick the best ones out the comment section. Of course, if you want to be sure that I ask the question during the show, you know what you need to do. Drop that question in the form of a super chat, and for sure it will jump to the top of the line to get asked. All right. But yeah, looking forward for that, people. It's already there. It's already in the thumbnail already prepared, time already set and everything. So if you guys want to go ahead and drop some likes on that video from now, that would be greatly appreciated as well. That always helps with the algorithm. Let me drop this in the comment section. All right, yeah, so that is the link to the show on Wednesday. Again, that's Wednesday, 12:30 Eastern time. And I will have a discussion or a kind of a special episode of Reasoning Time where we'll actually have a guest on for an interview, and that guest will be JFF, the newly appointed JFF Operations Manager, Omar McFarlane. All right, people, so look out for that. As I said, the thumbnail is in the comment section or in the live chat right now, so just go ahead and click on that. If you're watching this on the replay, you will see it in the live chat replay as well. So if you guys want to click on that, drop a like on the video, that would be greatly appreciated. I will be blasting it out tomorrow as well, because I do think that I think it's going to be very extremely informative, and it could be eye-opening. I don't think you want to miss this one. All right, people. So big up and thanks for the support again. Look, winless in 3, 2 draws, 1 loss, 4-point lead still. I have to have the same energy though, people. Since the season started, I've ended the show like this. I'm Jason Gooner. This is Jason Gooner TV. Come on, you Gooners.